Summer Barrett from Access Strategies. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Rob.
Welcome back on the show.
Thank you.
And Daniel Hall. I believe you would be the president and CEO of Access Strategies. Is that the correct way to title you, Daniel?
As long as Summer lets me stay, keep that title, yeah.
That's good. That's nice. And I remember you from your legislative days as well.
I think I've been on this show before.
Yes, you have.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good to have you back.
Thank you.
Let's get into it too, and start right off with the main question: will Access Strategies be representing Berkeley County in the next legislative session?
We certainly hope so. We have a current contract, and it has a few more out years. I can't remember how many left, 2 or 3 more. So they have the ability to renew that contract as of December 1st if they decide to do that.
Okay. How many years has the contract been in effect?
I think 5 or 6.
Yeah, there's been a couple renewals, so I think we're probably in year 2 or 3 of the renewal of a 5-year potential contract.
Okay.
But it has to be renewed every year.
Every year it gets renewed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why does Berkeley County need a lobbyist arm?
Well, I think many reasons, and a lot of people don't understand this, and that's totally normal. I don't understand what a lot of other people do for their careers. But it was particularly during the legislative session. Everyone knows it's a 60-day legislature, and it's extremely fast-paced. Mm-hmm. And it also happens to fall during the time where our county commissions, and I think most county commissions, are doing their annual budgets. So I don't think any of our county commissioners have the ability to go spend 60 days at the Capitol. But it's also more than that. Obviously we're given, just like we do for all of our clients, every year Berkeley County gives us a legislative priority list. And we take that list, we get bills introduced, we advocate for those bills, we work to get them across the finish line. But it's not just that, it's also, there's thousands of bills that get introduced every session, typically over 2,000 every year. And we monitor on a daily basis, actually more regularly than even daily. It's really hourly when bills are introduced or when they're assigned to committees or when people are working on them. We track every piece of that. And if we ever see a bill that has anything to do with county government or taxation or anything like that, we instantly start tracking it. And if it's something that is detrimental to the county, then we work with the county and say, is this something that you want us to work against, try to advocate against to get it killed. If it's something that we see that could hurt them, but there's a way that we can work on it and try to get it better for the county, then we do that. Or we might see something that someone else has introduced and we're like, oh, that's actually a really beneficial thing for counties, and particularly Berkeley County. And then we take that to them and say, is this something that you would like us to add to the list of things we're working on? So anywhere from, 75 to 200 bills a session that we're actively monitoring, whether we're working for them, against them, trying to get them amended, what have you. But it's not just the legislative session either. It's many times things pop up outside of session. There's oftentimes issues with water grant funding. We're working on a situation right now for some water grant funding. So it doesn't just lie within the legislative session that everyone typically thinks of either. It's really year-round that we're monitoring things and helping the county. And a lot of people say, oh, well, that's what the county commissioners were elected to do. And I don't agree with that at all. The county commissioners are certainly elected to do many jobs, but being a lobbyist at the state capitol is not one of them. And they literally cannot. They would not be here doing their job as a county commissioner if they were in Charleston working as a lobbyist. So,
Summer, could I ask Rob's question from a slightly different perspective?
Sure.
There's a County Commission Association and the Association of Counties, mm-hmm. both of which are designed to serve as a lobbying function. Mm-hmm. Why does Berkeley County need Access Strategies when you have these other 2 statewide lobbying groups?
Great question. A lot of people ask us that. First and foremost, the Association of Counties encompasses far more than just county commissions.
Yes.
It includes the assessors, the
All elected
clerks,
officials.
any elected
Sheriffs.
official, sheriffs. So they're they're really tackling a very large. I can't think of the right word, but their agenda is more high level, broad. And even the County Commission Association, when you have 55 counties as active members of that with varying priorities, even your agenda is pretty high level. Every year they'll come in and have like one or two issues that they're working on, but it doesn't get deep into particular agenda items that one given county would have. And when you have a county like Berkeley County in particular, that's the fastest growing county in the state, one of the largest counties in the state, and we're dealing with issues that truly no other county in this state even understands, much less has to deal with. I think it's very wise of the county commission to have a lobbying group that is there, like focusing on their issues, and gets more into, not into the weeds, but you know what I mean, like a more granular level of our issues that affect us. And having someone from this area that understands it is also really important.
What I'm hearing you say is you provide a tailored product as opposed to a broad
Sure.
product.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it.
Talk a little bit, Summer and Dan, about specifically 2014. We had the county commissioners Steve Catlett and Eddie Gokenauer here. Well, they're here very often. They were here last week. Eddie talked about not even really knowing what was happening, and 2014 sort of rises to the top, and that he said that you all were the folks that said, hey, you need to be aware of this, because it was, basically, obviously no money to the counties the way it was originally out there. So talk a little bit about that particular issue.
I promise I'll let Daniel talk in a minute.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'll stay here and look pretty.
He's really good at that. I actually think HB 2014 from the last session, not this past session, but 2025, is one of the best examples of our work and why our work is vital. Because that bill, no one was really talking about it at all from a perspective of county government. When it was originally introduced, it was only pertaining to microgrids. And, I saw it. But again, no one was really talking about it from a county perspective. I added it to our tracking sheet, but didn't pay a ton of attention to it at first. And then I saw it in I think it was House Finance Committee, and when I was listening to the House Finance Committee meeting, I started to realize, wait a minute, this is about our property taxes. This is about county property taxes. And so they had added that language into the bill. And I immediately went to the House Finance Chair and the Vice Chair, particularly because he was one of the authors of the bill. I sat with him numerous times and tried to get them to change that portion of the bill to be more beneficial to counties. Was not successful with them. And I really didn't know where the bill was going to go yet. So then it gets to the House floor and passes. And I immediately went to our House members from the Panhandle, and they were like, we just didn't understand that part of it. And so I called the county commissioners immediately and said, this is very bad. No one's talking about this from the county government perspective. I think we have a big issue here. You're going to lose all of your property tax revenue if we don't get this changed. And so I started having meetings with the Senate side, and I called Eddie and Gary, and I said, I really think it would be beneficial if you all came down for a couple days and helped us with that. With the effort of talking with senators. We had numerous meetings, very in-depth of the formulas that they were using. And we ultimately in the Senate got it to, I think it was 40% in the Senate. And then when it went to the House, they of course lowered it to 30. But that was no one else was talking about that. It was all because we were tracking it on our end and realized this was detrimental to every county, really, not just Berkeley County. And we managed to get the County Commission Association to join our efforts, and they were working in collaboration with us. But it was really our work that managed to get it to 30% ultimately.
I remember that bill actually was called the microgrid bill.
Yeah.
It wasn't really anything about data centers
Yeah.
everybody was thinking about.
Yeah, one of the concerns, there's several concerns about this, you well know, Daniel and Summer, is that the guardrails. And I'm going to, for simplistic purpose, put guardrails in three categories. Looking forward now, not looking back. One, everything is invested in the data center czar, which is sits at part of the governor's. I've heard proposals that the 2014 revisited will involve more county involvement. I've also, talking about guardrails, I've also heard that the legislators are going to take it on themselves to introduce these guardrails. So we have kind of three options. One vested in the governor's representative, the czar. One goes back to have the county get more involved in guardrails, and third is for the legislators to put their guardrails in. Do you have a sense which of these three would be the most advantageous approach?
For the county, certainly, if
yeah.
the county's involved in
Yeah,
it.
okay.
But I think any guardrails are
Yeah.
is
Which
beneficial.
right now they're
and
missing.
Daniel can probably talk to that too.
Yeah, so there's a lot of conversation out there about data centers now. Everybody knows all about that, and so I think a lot of legislators have been maybe their eyes have been opened to what the public really feels about some of this and their concerns around the water and electricity rates and just not having any real say on the local level. I know a lot of legislators I've talked to are interested in bringing a bill back to maybe amend that section of code. Whether they can get the support they need and the support of the governor to get that signed into law, who knows? We'll see. But I do believe there's going to be significant efforts to try to amend that legislation next year.
But again, I come back, amend the legislation in the sense that will involve more of county control, or have the legislators address the guardrails themselves.
I think it's all depends on what happens in the legislative process, who can get the support they need to get the vote. I mean, we make jokes all the time, how dare us to question the infinite wisdom of the legislature. But
we all do that.
Yeah, that's right.
we do that around the table every day.
But and Mike Cornby has brought this up numerous times, and of course he's a delegate. If 90% of the counties don't have zoning, what local control was there anyway? There are controls. There's a planning process, not so much where something goes, which is what zoning does, but how something is built and the structure around the building of something is well within the purview of the county. So the county does have a role.
And we did, in this last legislative session, we had 2 successes with kind of continuing the process of data center legislation. We were able to get a small protections for water into a bill. I wrote it. I have it somewhere. It was the legislative rule 4983, a line for water protections. We got added in there, and then there was an oversight, I think. I don't think they did it intentionally, but in the original bill, they had that the data centers would pay municipal fees like fire and EMS fees, but it didn't clarify whether they were going to pay county fees in that regard. And so in 5168, we were able to clarify that and get that language added. And so now any data center that is built will have to pay county EMS and fire fees. And so that is a great example of, we have this bill that was passed last year, and then another bill comes up that we can work something into and get something for the county. That one data center, the Beddington data center, they're estimating would pay the fire fee would be over $100,000 a year for that one data center. So that's huge for our county fire system.
You mentioned water, and water is one of the real questions. The guest we had right before you folks came on talking that we're in the drought condition. Now the Beddington data centers are conveniently placed. They have access to Potomac River. They have access to the gray water plant right across the Opecking Creek. So they have certain sources of water. If they were away from the Bennington area, if they're, say, Back Creek Valley or Inwood area, they would not have these resources. The county, comes back to Rob's point, what role does the county have? The county has very precise protection of the groundwater, and very, very precise. The way it's written now, the data centers would not have to adhere to these precise regulations of groundwater. Again,
and that-
Bennington doesn't apply, but it would in other
Yeah.
sections of the
And
county.
I think that's something that if Berkeley County or a legislator or whoever decided we're going to try to change this, and introduce an amendment to that section of code, then that's something that can be tweaked.
Summer Barrett, Daniel Hall with us here from Access Strategies. You've got a new office opening in Martinsburg, I understand, Daniel.
Yeah, today we're doing a ribbon cutting and a grand opening of our new office in Martinsburg. It's an exciting day for us personally as friends and colleagues, but as our business, and looking to we think that will provide us an opportunity to serve people and businesses of this area a little better.
Where will you be?
I'll let Summer answer that. The address escapes me.
It's on Queen Street. There's a shared office space that used to be Bowles Rice. Now it's called the Vandalia, and we are renting office space within that building. So it's 101 South Queen.
How many offices do you have around the state?
We have our main one in Charleston, and then this satellite office in Daniel works just outside of Beckley.
So we're one of two.
Of physical brick
Yes.
and mortar, yeah.
Yeah. Do you represent many other government entities in the state?
We don't represent any other government entities, but we represent a bunch of associations.
Such
some
as?
of them are government, associations. So we represent a wide variety of clients. Most are business related, and trade associations, anywhere from gas stations, convenience stores, the trucking industry, insurance agents, natural gas.
The Hospice Council.
Yes, the Hospice
Yeah.
Council. That's
Yeah,
right.
represent-
So how do you end up branching into county government representation? Because Berkeley County government is the only commission that you represent, right?
The only commission, yes, certainly. I think representing another commission, like a county commission, might be potential conflict. I don't know if there would ever be an issue like that, but we try really hard to not blur those lines of if this county was asking for something and another county was asking for another.
So with your contract with Berkeley County Commission, there are certain parameters, and one of the criticisms has been that you agree to provide X, Y, and Z within a certain amount of time. And one of the things that I've read is that you have not provided some of the, either a monthly report or something to that effect. Can you speak to that without, going into a ton of detail what people are criticizing you for?
I'm not sure of the exact criticism, but as far as reporting goes, during the legislative session, we provide Berkeley County and really probably all of our clients with a weekly report of all of the legislation that we're tracking on their behalf, all of their priorities, where they stand, what work we've done for or against, or whatever our role is in a piece of legislation, and the county gets that every week during the
And
legislative
is that
session.
public to your knowledge, or maybe it's we should ask the county?
Anything we give the county would be public.
Okay.
Yeah, it's FOIA-able just like anything else. It's sent via email, and it sits in the county commissioner's email, so anyone can get that if they chose to receive that. I don't know past my job is providing it to the county, and then whether they publish it somewhere or what they do with it, I don't know what they do with it beyond that.
I appreciate the fact you represent Berkeley County, but on a given bill, how much collaboration do you have with the County Commission Association?
I work oh my gosh, why am I struggling?
Collaboratively.
Yeah, collaboratively with the County Commission Association a lot. Not always, because like I said, they're representing 55 counties, and their agenda is very high level and broad. But if I'm working on a particular legislation and I go to them and say, hey, are you supportive of this? Would all of your members be supportive of this? Could we get you on board to also support it? It's it's helpful to have their support, because then that shows the legislators that this isn't just a piece of legislation for Berkeley County. It's a piece of legislation that would help all counties, or all counties, at least all counties are supportive or neutral on. And so then that gives the legislators an idea that, oh, this isn't just something for Berkeley County.
If taking it down one level, if you talk to the County Commission Association, they say, yeah, we're generally supportive except for county Y, X, and Z. Would you go to counties Y, X, and Z and talk to them individually?
Yeah, actually, we had that's a really good question, and brings something to my mind. We had a bill that we were working on the last session regarding 911 fees, and I think there was like a lot of confusion because the 911 fees in the state and how we charge them are super convoluted, and we unfortunately did not fix the problem. So we're going to take another stab at it next year probably. But I think some of the counties didn't understand what the bill did, and so originally their 911 centers were not supportive of the bill. And we went to those particular counties, but also the 911 association. I don't know what their association is called, but they have an association, and worked with them to explain what we were trying to do. They had some requests of things to change in the bill, and so we did change those, and then got them on board supportive of it at that point. It's just like the nature of the back and forth of a piece of legislation. Some people don't understand it, or they have one particular issue with the bill, and you can sometimes change it. And
I know I'm asking very general questions, and you can make a specific argument either way. Most of what we're talking about this morning are offensive actions that you take. How much defensive role do you play?
meaning fighting.
Fighting something that you see coming down the pike that you fear would be a problematic to Berkeley County.
I mean, often, HB 2014 is a great example. That would have, I mean, it's not perfect, but the original bill that passed the House was abysmal for county government. And for our protecting our property taxes. And then what the ultimate product was drastically better. And so that really wasn't a great example of going on the defense to say we've got to go fight this bill because we can't let it just completely destroy our property taxes.
Yeah. Good example. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah,
you're staying the full hour, so we'll take our break here in a moment. I want to talk about some of the. Is Daniel here? Yes. Our camera's trying to cut him out.
Nice to see you.
Bad enough the camera's trying to cut him out now. Hey, we'll get that fixed during the commercial break. Good information in that first segment. I want to talk about, first off, some of the successes Access Strategies has had for Berkeley County since the contract began, which is now 4 years?
The original the first year we were under contract as Omega when we worked for Omega was 2021.
So we're in our 5th year now. Okay, very good. Let's roll out some of the successes that you've had on behalf of Berkeley County.
So I don't know how far back you want me to go, but every year we do an annual report to the county, and actually tomorrow, since everyone's here in town, we scheduled it to where everyone's already here. So we're giving our annual report to the county tomorrow.
At the Thursday meeting?
Yes. Yep. We do that every year. And during that meeting, if folks are really interested in details of every single one and the dollar amounts, you can listen to that tomorrow. I think we're at 10, something like that. And I'll go through details then. But every year I go back and I look at every single piece of legislation that we worked on and got across the finish line on behalf of Berkeley County, like things they asked us to work on. Mostly their priorities, some things that we get involved with, like defensive or things like that, I'm not necessarily detailing in this report, but it's mostly their priorities. And I go back every year and add what that bill is still generating or saving the county.
Okay.
Because I think it's really important that this is cumulative. Over time, our work, we worked on bills in the 2021 legislative session that are still every single year generating a lot of money on behalf of the county or for the county commission. So to talk to that example really quick, one example is the fire fees ballot initiative that we worked on in 2021 that allowed the county fire fees to go to a ballot referendum. And when that went on the ballot, the voters of Berkeley County approved a fee increase for commercial properties. And so that increase, just the increase, every single year for the last 3 fiscal years has generated more than $2 million every year. I'm not going to get into the dollar by dollar, but over $2 million. And so for 3 years, we're sitting at 2, 4, 6, 7, over $7 million generated by that one piece of legislation we worked for. And that's a really good example of something I had to fight. I mean, I was literally fighting with people for that bill.
Like literally?
I mean, almost. Not fists, not throwing fists, but there was a whole lot of fighting. And we won, and now it's generating a lot of money for the county every single year, and will continue to generate money every single year. In this past legislative session, we worked on the STIF bill. It created that Economic Opportunity Development District, aka a STIF, that allows the sports complex to be built. So the bill just allowed that district to be established where any sales tax generated within that district stays locally. It doesn't go to the state. That's the essence of the bill we worked on. And that bill then allows the sports complex to be built. But the revenue from that district is, I mean, I can't even begin to list and come up with all of the ways that that's going to generate revenue for the county. Hotel motel tax, because there's going to be hotels on site. The fire and EMS fees, because there will be commercial properties there. What else? I know I'm missing other things. Real estate taxes, exactly. Mm-hmm. So that development that this bill allowed for, I can't even put a price tag on it because I really truly don't know. Mm-hmm. But it's huge. It is a huge impact fiscally for the Berkeley County budget.
Speaking of hundreds of millions of dollars over time.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt.
Easily.
And that's 30 years? That STIF district
yeah, I believe so.
remains in that status? And then impact fees were passed.
Impact fees was 2 years ago, I think, but they're now active, and the county is collecting money. And based on what I got so far, because they just took effect in November, so from November to June, it's about $3.5 million so far. Mm-hmm. And that's another one that I had to get really creative and come up with a good way to get that through and get it passed. And it took a lot of almost fist fighting. No, I'm kidding when I say that, but it was not an easy bill to get accomplished. And sometimes people will say, oh, would that have bill passed without your work? And sometimes I'm like, oh, I mean, maybe. This one, no. Like, I know for sure without the work of our team on that bill, it would have never passed. Same, I could go through here and pick out probably 75% of them that I feel that way about.
Did you work on the John Hardy transfer tax fees bill?
Yep, and the acceleration of the bill. I think the initial bill that they passed when John Hardy was first elected was prior to us representing Berkeley County, but then we worked on what he always called a speed-up bill, acceleration bill, and that...
that was supposed to be 10 years, and it got accelerated to 3?
3, yeah.
Right.
And so that... The first year was $600,000, the second year was 1.3, and then this past fiscal year was 1.6. So that, again, every year is generating a massive increase to the county just by one piece of legislation.
And then what was the work on the prison bill?
You mean like the regional jail per diem? Yeah, so that's ongoing. I feel like every year we're at risk of needing to fight that battle again, but it's still the formula that was put into place. Oh, what year was that? Sorry, it was in the 2023 legislative session. Sorry, I just lost my place.
It's okay. We have time.
Yeah, it was a formula that was put into place in 2023 session, and first year was like 5. So these numbers are savings to the county. So it's no revenue coming in, but without the formula, the county would have paid more for the regional jail bill. So it saved the county $550,000 the first year, $351,000 in the second year, and then this fiscal year has saved them over $568,000 so far.
Almost $1.5 million.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was a tremendous fight. I mean, what people don't understand about Berkeley County is you're a growing county. So many counties in this state are shrinking, have the exact opposite problems that you have here. And legislators, I mean, they're all our friends. Most of them are our friends, at least colleagues. Some of them are jealous of the successes of Berkeley County. And if we ask for something for Berkeley County, sometimes they fight it just to get something that they want, because they have problems as well.
That's politics, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, trade-offs are true.
Someone made a comment in a post about, well, why don't you work for locality pay? Well, locality pay is a side, not necessarily something that the Berkeley County, of course they would support locality pay, the county commission, but that is really an education issue. And talk about fights, right?
Yeah. And you're kind of indicating this. It's not an issue that the Berkeley County Commission is responsible for. Mm-hmm. Sure, they're supportive and want our teachers and state police and all state employees to get locality pay. We all in this area want that. But it's not a county commission
issue for the county.
that they're responsible for. Now the school board the local school boards could hire a lobbyist and go to Charleston and fight for locality pay. But it's...
Summer, Daniel, let me go back to first principles. A lot of what you've described, your achievement, is a direct consequence of the so-called Dillon Rule, which we as a county state operate under, which in effect says the county's restricted what they can do, only what the state tells them they can do. The reverse of that is home rule, which is there any thought at all in backing away from the Dillon Rule and instituting home rule?
For counties?
For counties? Or statewide? It has to be statewide to do
Sure,
that.
I understand. Yeah. It's not a conversation that I've heard really talked about, and it's certainly never been something that the Berkeley County Commission has added to their priority list for us to work on.
Yeah. Because the Dillon Rule is pretty restrictive, especially growing counties, because we do have certain needs, and so right now we basically have to do what we're doing right now: go to the state government and ask for permission. And it should be that takes some of the autonomy away from the county government. It takes a lot of the autonomy away from the county government.
We talk about how we want local control all the time, and then we won't let them have it.
Exactly right. That's basically what I'm saying right now.
A lot of hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Nobody does hypocrisy better than government.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and talk about that too, because the 1% sales tax is something that the Berkeley County Commission talks about needing for emergency services, Daniel. So, depending on who you talk to, we're led to believe that that's actually close, and others say it doesn't have a chance. The ones who say it doesn't have a chance tend to be elected people. The ones who say we're close tend to be the local elected people.
Yeah, so that initiative made it the farthest it's ever made it last past year. It got close, I would say. But it doesn't get you anything. Close doesn't. Not in this game. There is a tremendous need for it across the state. There's a tremendous desire to get it adopted, but there is also a tremendous opposition to it from certain legislators. Where one of the first things that would happen if it was adopted would be a 1% sales tax, or allowed, on the county level. Counties could adopt that. There are legislators who are absolutely fighting this because they refuse to vote for any type of tax increase, even though they would not be technically responsible for it. The local county governments would be.
And it'd be a referendum anyway,
That's
so
right.
it'd actually be the people.
Exactly.
Were you in the Senate when home rule was passed for the cities on the experimental basis and then regular?
I think I was in the House. I don't remember the exact year, but I was a part of that for sure.
You were part of that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And is there truth to the story that the reason why the counties are going to have so much trouble getting home rules because there is some anger over the way the cities handled the B&O tax?
B&O tax, yeah.
After they got the 1% sales tax?
Yeah, it was, don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but it was suggested to the legislature that if the cities got the 1%, the B&O tax would go away. And that didn't necessarily happen. It was reduced in a lot of instances, but So I think a lot of legislators feel like they got the rug pulled out from underneath them.
Is that something that can be overcome?
I think you need guardrails. Well, the county doesn't have a B&O tax to worry about, so there's not really a whole lot that the county could give up to get the 1% sales tax. I think if just like we talked about guardrails on the data center legislation, you could put guardrails on this.
Are there any other legislative victories, Summer, in regards to revenue into Berkeley County that you can claim? And I guess your Mike Cable must be having a field day over there. So let me help you out a little. All right, good. I fix things around here, Daniel.
Yeah, good job.
Well, in the if we're still talking about in the last legislative session, that I kind of mentioned it when we were talking about the HB 2014, the change that we were able to get to have data centers pay the fire and EMS fees, any county fees. So I think I mentioned before, but just the Beddington data center. Their annual fire fee is estimated to be more than $100,000 a year, and that's huge for the fire system in Berkeley County. Mm-hmm. If there were a few data centers all paying that or more, that is a big increase to the annual fire revenue. That's not counting any of the EMS fees or any of those other county fees that a data center will now be responsible for. So total, after I go through every year and add all of the each year, like the fiscal year totals, we're at over more than $79 million from bills or grants that we've worked on, generated or savings to the Berkeley County Commission. And I do that every year because I think it really displays to everyone that the return on investment is still huge after 5 years.
So you have your critics. You've met many of them, right?
Well, they don't criticize you to your face. It's just
yeah, you met many of them through social media. Yeah. So one of the criticisms is the bill that Berkeley County gets. What is, I don't know if that's gone up every year you've had the contract, or what is the current bill to Berkeley County for the contract?
It has stayed since its inception at $16,000 a year. And
a month or a year?
I'm sorry.
I don't think anybody would be complaining with $16,000 a year.
No, I'm sure they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, you'd probably still have some. But I was not involved in that at the beginning, but we've kept it steady since then.
Kept it steady.
And we could argue that it's went down because we took away, it was a potential up to 240, I believe, with expenses, and now we're pretty much eating the expenses ourselves.
And there is, you alluded to the fact that there are, you probably would not take on another county if they wanted to hire you. Because of potential conflicts, but is there anyone else, or do any other counties hire anyone else besides access strategies to do this work that you know of?
Yes, I know Kanawha County has a lobbying team. Wood County.
Wetzel County has
their assessors have a lobbyist.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And is this, to your knowledge, does then Berkeley County have to bid out the process every year? So does anybody else come in and make a pitch for this work? Do you know?
The first year,
go ahead. Yeah.
The first year there were 3 firms, I think, that bid.
Okay.
And we were awarded the contract.
Mm-hmm.
The last time it was put out, I don't think anybody else bid for it.
Yeah,
but it is put out.
Yes,
it's not put out. There's no requirement to put it out every single year. The first contract had a 3-year out. What's it actually called?
3-year contract that they could opt in
to renew.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, and then this current one is 5. They have to renew it every year, but they don't have to put it out for bid until the 5 years ends.
Okay.
But this last time, like he's referencing, after the 3 years were up, no other firms bid for the contract.
You mentioned, Daniel, you're eating the expenses now. What does that equate to in regards to your work with the county officials when they come to Charleston?
That could be anything from just meals. That's most likely would be most of that. So what is lobbying? That might answer the question a little bit. It's not that people say lobbying is a dirty word. You can say government relations, whatever you want to call it. We are consultants, advisors. What do? We educate and advocate, and sometimes fight, like Summer said. But our job is to educate legislators on the subject and advocate for a position. So, and just like you would hire, or anybody could hire an accountant to do their taxes or someone to mow their lawn, we're a vendor for the county to go educate and advocate for the county's positions.
Are there any other organizations, association in Berkeley County that you represent?
There are some that are located here, but maybe not home based here.
Do you mean businesses?
Well, I was thinking about maybe hospice, for example.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Our Access Strategies represents the Hospice Council, as Maria mentioned earlier. We work on that issue. Daniel represents convenience stores and gas stations, and there are probably many of those owners here in Berkeley County.
Insurance agents, trucking companies.
Yeah.
There's a pile of it.
So the questions that we get asked, and I'm sure you've been asked as well, is if we have House of Delegates members, we have state senators, and some of them have risen up into leadership positions, and we have county commissioners, why aren't they enough to get the issues that are important locally passed?
So the legislature will adopt on average 300 bills a legislative session. There are more than 3,000 most of the time introduced. So 10% maybe get adopted and signed into law. There is literally no way possible that a legislator, no matter how smart they are, could monitor and keep up with every piece of legislation that's introduced, because they have everybody in their district and across the state reaching out to them, pulling on them. Education, hospitals, roads, like everything you can think of. Foster care is a big issue these days. So they're pulled in 100 directions. They have their own pet projects. Maybe they were working on the STIF development bill for up here. Our job, and Summer does an outstanding job of doing this, our job is to reminding them of what's important to county government and educate them on the subject. Because our legislators they're lay legislators. They're part-time. They have other jobs. They're not, some of them are school teachers, some are lawyers, some are farmers, some of them are media people. So they don't know the ins and outs of every subject, and especially in regards to county government a lot of times.
If I'm a county commissioner and I'm upset about HB 2014 and I don't have a lobbying firm, can I drive down to Charleston and get a meeting with somebody who can make a difference on my own?
Absolutely. I mean, especially with your own legislator. I mean, that's who you're most likely going to get a meeting with.
Can I get a meeting with Roger Hanshaw or with Randy Smith?
Doubtful. Not without planning way ahead and getting on the schedule, or having someone like us to get you in the door.
And to that point, during HB 2014, there were some other counties who, when we started our effort, and I went to the County Commission Association and said, this is going on and this really impacts every county. Will you join forces and help with this? And they sent out their blast to all the county commissioners. There were some other county commissions that started contacting me. I won't put them on blast, but there were probably 5 counties that reached out to me and asked for my help. And it was interesting to see, like, oh, like you understand that you really need someone down here who knows people, who knows how to get meetings, who understands the process, and can help open those doors, can get you to speak in a committee meeting, and can help explain what's going on with this particular legislation. And some of those people, even after the bill passed, were still calling me, asking me questions about the bill and how, like, whatever the process was. And so I think there are many times that other commissioners realize, oh, we really need some help.
We have a final minute right after this. Access Strategies office in Martinsburg. Daniel, what are the details today? You got 30 seconds.
Yeah, come on out at 11 o'clock in the old Bowles Rice building on Queen Street. And we're just glad to be able to do this and honored to continue our work with Berkeley County.
We appreciate you folks spending an hour with us this morning and answering some questions.
Thank you for
Much
having
appreciated.
us.
Summer, thank you. And tomorrow morning at the Berkeley County Commission meeting, which we televise, you can hear more details from Summer and Daniel. Bill, thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Pleasure to be here as always.
Maria?
Thank you.
Our producer, Colton Musgrove. Dave Ramsey shows next. This is Talk Radio, WRI Martinsburg and TV 10. And we'll talk to you again in 22 short hours.